Good afternoon and welcome to a beautiful October 8th, Thursday, 2025 in Pickett, Wisconsin. The weather is just absolutely spectacular. It's about 61 degrees, light breezes, beautiful blue skies. In fact, you'd think it was spring if it wasn't for this. The sound of the crickets. What I've got on the stand today is a new to me engine, new to the channel engine. I've never run one of these on the channel before. And it's one I picked up at a swap meet just a few days ago here locally. This is an Aviastar 46 ABC engine. This is an engine, I have no idea how long they were in production, but it was an engine that at least as far back as 2009, I don't know what the window was, these were being marketed within the United States by SIG Manufacturing, or they were being distributed through SIG. Now, years ago, and I don't know exactly how many, 4 or 5 or 6 probably. They made a 46, a 53, and then they also made a 150 size two-stroke. And I had the 150, and it was an incredible engine. I mean, I was a Chinese-made engine, but it wasn't your typical Sanye-made engine. This was a real quality Chinese company. Unfortunately, they no longer make glow engines anymore, but I mean, it was really a really good engine. I'm hoping that this one turns out to be the same. So this is a 46, it's a true ABC engine, it's very tight, it's never been run before. It's really tight, which is why I've got a spinner on here because I'm gonna have to use my starter on it. So I've got an APC 10.6 prop here, a spinner, a Fox short RC short plug, which is always proven to be a very good plug for these type of engines, these 40 size two strokes. And I've got the last batch I made of 8% nitro fuel here. So let's fire this thing up. This is going to be a break-in, an ABC style break-in. The only thing is I'm finding that the hole that you would put an extension in here is too small for standard size extensions. So that sucks because this is pretty close here. So I'm going to have to be really careful adjusting that high-speed needle, and I'm going to try to do it as little as possible. I've got the high-speed needle now open about 2.5 turns from open from fully closed. So with that said, let's fire this engine up and see how she runs for the very first time. Okay, let me put my tachometer in my top pocket. Let's see how she takes a prime. She's priming up really nice. This one does have a throttle stop screw on it, and I haven't adjusted it. Looks like it's a nice big slotted screw, so I should have no issues there if I need to make any adjustments there. Pretty sure that my glow starter's good. Okay, let me pull this plug, check my nice starter, make sure everything's good there. I checked this before I put it in, but if nothing pops like that, first thing I'm going to go and do is I'm going to check both these things, my nice starter and that. So let me do that. Okay, so my glow starter, this one, and nice starter checked out just fine. So maybe it's just a matter of it wants a lot more prime. I don't know. Pretty sure fuel's getting in there. Let's see. I hear fuel in there now. It's probably going to be a little bit over primed, but we'll see what happens here. It's got fuel in it now for sure. Okay, so I leaned it out there on purpose, trying to find where I thought the peak was so I could back it off about 1500 RPM from there. I was listening for a sound. Oh crap. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work on my starter because my starter just spun off here. Let's see if I can hand start this thing real quick. Having all sorts of issues now. The nut holding my starter cone on fell off. Alright, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of repair work on my starter, so let me stop these cameras again. Okay, so starter issue remedied, and now let's prime this thing up again here. I opened up that high-speed needle a little bit too. You're gonna have to leave here, mister. I don't want you to get hurt. I got a common bumblebee here. Let's go. You're gonna have to leave. Okay, so I haven't done anything with the low speed at all, and that thing's spooling up. Okay, so right now I'm not super impressed with this carb. To me it looks like that low speed needle is screwed in really far, but I don't really want to do low speed adjustments when I'm trying to do a break-in. Let me just fire it back up again where it's at and see what happens here. Okay, so with the glow on and going down to throttle or low speed, it died. So when I said I thought that low speed looks like it's in a little too far, that would look like it makes sense because it would be killing off fuel flow. So I'm going to open this up. I don't know where it's supposed to be, but I'm just going to open it a few turns and see how that changes its behavior now. It looks like we're going to have to do a little bit of dialing in here just to get the break-in run going. not super impressed with this engine at this point because this carb barrel just seems really weird. Like it's kind of loosey-goosey in here. It almost kind of looks like this. I know I don't have that little, that little lock nut for that is just really in a tight location, and I don't think I've got a small, okay, I got this turning a little bit here. It's just not in an ideal location. But this just, it's engaged there, but it just feels, the barrel just feels weird. Maybe you can see it from this angle, I don't know. The prop would stay out of the way. Just kind of has some play in there that might be contributing to how the spray bars are meshing. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's really doing its job there, but and the high-speed needle is really weird. Let's just run it at a more consistent throttle setting and see if it kind of smooths out at all. That's just weird. I mean, it hit like, I don't know what that peak was. It says 11,250, but it was looking like it was hitting 10,000 and it was not liking it. And before it was going well into the 11,000 range. So I'm not really sure what's happening with this strange engine that's not impressing me right now. This thing is just probably another one of those things where it's a nice engine, but the carb sucks. That's kind of really what it's looking like right now. Because even when I'm adjusting this low-speed needle in here, it seems, I'm not saying it's working itself loose, but it just seems kind of loose. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of resistance on it like there should be, or as much resistance on it. Pretty warm. It's going through fuel pretty good. I'm just gonna, I guess, continue this break-in and maybe maybe I'll just run the rest of this fuel out at a rather, you know, mid to high RPM. It's breaking in. I mean, it's loosening up, put it that way. But I think we may have an issue where we just have a really low quality carb or something not quite right with this carb. And maybe I need to find a replacement for it. Okay, so I'm going to let it die out there. One thing I am going to do here, just because this has happened before. Now, in the past, this Fox RC short plug has been a really, really good plug for these type of engines. But I am going to put an OS number 8 plug in here and just see how that changes the way this thing is performing at this time. See if it, because 11,000, what's it? The peak reading, last peak reading was 11,380, and anything richer or leaner and it dies. I mean, so you can't tell me that a 46 ABC is only going to turn a 10.6 at 11,380. That's a really, really weak engine. So let me shut the cameras off here, try a different plug, and we'll end it there. Okay, so this engine has only cooled down just enough for me to swap the plug. I was running another engine. I swapped plugs with these two engines, and we're going to see what happens here now. OS number 8 plug in here. So I think we can safely assume that that livened this engine up considerably, which is funny because I've always had really good luck with those Fox RC short plugs on other engines, but it just goes to show that some engines are just like certain plugs. But man, as soon as I fired that thing up, you could hear how happy it was. What I just did was I just opened up the low speed a little bit because it just seemed like it was too lean there. So the fact that it just died when I had this on there is telling me that because it's not completely closed, the barrel's not completely closed. That's kind of telling me that there may be some kind of an issue with that spray bar, because it should not have died if it was, unless it's still too lean. But man, this thing just feels weird. I'm opening this up, the low speed up again some more, and we'll see what happens now. I'll just keep opening it until maybe it'll give me a better idle. Yeah, this is a strange one here. It seemed a little bit better, but there's still, now it's almost seeming like there's like a mid-range transition issue happening. I'm opening this low speed just another hair. Boy, trying to find the proper idle speed for this thing is kind of tough because of the way the carb is operating at this time. But I mean, clearly the OS number 8 plug is the answer to this engine, this particular engine. Even with the night starter on there. Okay, I think we're going to end this run and this runs and video here. Okay, so quite a bit to unpack in this conclusion, and stick around if you want to listen to all of this. So this engine I got at a swap meet here just on Sunday, just a few days ago. Was told it had never been run, new, never run engine. The only thing that I had noted was that the throttle arm had been drilled out already, because a lot of these things come and the throttle hole is too small. I don't know that it had ever been mounted, but I believe that it was never run because of how it felt, and it feels much different now. So it was a new engine. Don't know if anybody had been playing with the carb or doing anything with that. I don't know. All I know is what you saw, in that a Fox RC short plug, it does not like that plug for some reason, where I've found other engines really love that plug. So that's the first thing. I just threw that in there just for the heck of it. OS number 8 is the right plug for this engine. Fuel seems good. Peak performance or peak RPM seems really good. I cannot believe that with that Fox RC short plug, that the best peak RPM I could get with this thing was like 11,300. Whereas when I went to the OS number 8, it was over, did I already shut that thing off? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the video. Over 13,000. So, 2,000 RPM more, 1,500 at least. But that's not as big a deal as the carb. The carb is a strange thing here, and it has a throttle stop screw, which is a nice thing. The only thing is, a lot of times with these throttle stop screws, they've got a lock nut on there, and it's really hard to get on that lock nut. So the last little adjustment I made when I had it down at like around 3,000 RPM, and then I throttled it up, I could see that thing was opening on its own, because I didn't get in there and I didn't have the means or the tools to get in there and adjust that lock nut at all. So those things are a little tough to adjust, especially while they're on the engine, which makes it even harder. Let's see here. Let me look at this, make a visual note here, because where I put it looked like it was pretty good. Okay, So anyway, I mean, this is probably a strong running engine. I think the weakest link of it, as with many engines, not necessarily just Chinese engines, but many engines, they suffer from just an inferior carb. I'm not saying this carb is inferior, but it seems like it's got some weird play. It's not as tight. It's not an OS carb, put it that way. You can tell the tolerances are just, I mean, I'm sitting here and I can sit here and move this and I can see the barrel basically moving in the carb body. I mean, that's just not good. So either there's an O-ring missing or it's just a poorly designed carb. But I mean, I think the engine itself, the ABC metallurgy and all that good stuff, is probably a really fine engine. I mean, it was running really well. But, you know, an engine is only as good as its carb. So anyway, this was an interesting run. I think I learned some stuff. I hope you all learned something from watching me learn something. But there you go. There's our run for this Aviastar 46 ABC engine.